The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
In the choice between Miller and Pettersson, the Canucks chose Pettersson. And then they chose another Pettersson. What the heck is going on with this team? Patrick Allvin, go to sleep, man. Unbelievable.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs. This is the third episode of Locked On Canucks today because this has been one of the craziest days in franchise history. As we all know by now, the Canucks trade away JT Miller to the New York Rangers. They lose 5-3 to the Dallas Stars, and then another bombshell drops. The Canucks acquire Marcus Pettersson from the Pittsburgh Penguins along with Drew Connor for the first-round pick acquired from the New York Rangers, Vincent Desharnais, and, oh my God, unbelievable, and Danton Heinen as well. And on top of it, Melvin Brannstrom, another prospect in the Canucks organization. And Patrick Allvin and Jim Rutherford staying true to their reputation that they are not afraid to make bold moves. But did they make the right moves today? And I think a big question about this Vancouver Canucks team right now are the Canucks a better team? Of course, they're not a better team after today. You can't trade away a guy who just had 100 points for your hockey team and be a better team. And I Canucks fans, maybe in the comments, hit me up with some optimism here if you're on YouTube Live, because right now, I'm not walking away from today feeling very good about this Canucks team. And look, if you want some more glass half full, based on the roster they have right now, the Canucks should still be a playoff team. Marcus Pettersson, he improves this defense, but you can't trade away a guy like JT Miller in a day like today and become a better team. And we talked about the Miller trade earlier. Let's talk a bit more about the trade for Marcus Pettersson. And I think the big gripe with this trade is, was he worth a first-round pick? And on top of that, you give away Melvin Brannstrom as well, who is a good prospect for this Canucks organization. Their top pick in the 2024 draft, albeit in the third round. They give away Vincent Desharnais, his $2 million salary, and Danton Heinen and his $2.25 million salary. And you see some rhetoric about, oh, well, they gave away the first because they had to give away Heinen and Desharnais and their salaries. Look, that should not be a major consideration in this. Danton Heinen getting paid $2.25 million. He hasn't been great this season, but at his cap hit, you don't worry about that too much. And you swap him for Drew Connor, who is basically a quicker version of Danton Heinen with maybe less finishing ability. That's one of the big gripes about Drew O'Connor from the Pittsburgh Penguins is the dude, he's spent some good time with Crosby and Malkin this season. He is not good at finishing, but brings some speed and some good penalty killing to the bottom six. But in totality today, you got to be a little bit worried about the trajectory of the Vancouver Canucks. And again, we've talked about it time and time again. You know, we're going to talk more about Marcus Pettersson, but Elias Pettersson, he is going to be the most important player on the Vancouver Canucks. And I know that sounds weird because Quinn Hughes is certainly the most important player on the Vancouver Canucks, or at least the most impactful. But what Elias Pettersson does from here will decide the future of the Vancouver Canucks. It is all on Elias Pettersson now, and man, oh man, I hope he's ready to handle the pressure. I'm gonna will myself into being the biggest Elias Pettersson fan of all time because the Canucks need this guy to be the best version of himself if this team is going to salvage any Stanley Cup aspirations they have. Hell, right now, I worry if they're going to be stuck in the mushy middle. I really do. And again, Marcus Pettersson, sure, he can move the puck up the ice more, but you are taking a monumental risk in what they did today, both in terms of trading JT Miller and giving away a first-round pick for a guy, Marcus Pettersson, who does he really move the needle for this Vancouver Canucks hockey team? And another side note today, the story's coming out the yin-yang. Quinn Hughes gets hurt in the game against the Dallas Stars. He is out there wincing in the third period, having trouble skating around on the ice. Is Marcus Pettersson going to be the number one defenseman on this Canucks hockey team when they play the Detroit Red Wings on Sunday? These are dark times of the Vancouver Canucks. And again, when you judge trades the day they happen, it's easy to say the Canucks lost today. And who knows? They may end up on top of this trade. These trades, I should say. But the fact of the matter is, they are not a better hockey team on paper today than they were yesterday. And again, this team is stuck in the mushy middle right now. The goal is not to be stuck in the mushy middle. It's to become a Stanley Cup contender. And again, with Marcus Pettersson right now, it's kind of what you see is what you get. And another big risk with him is, defensively, he has not been the same player this season with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, granted, the whole team has taken a step back there. I know they are hanging around the playoff picture, but that Pittsburgh Penguins team has taken a step back. And I would argue a reason for that is the defense is worse, and they're relying on Marcus Pettersson too much. Now, let's go glass half full all over the place here on Locked On Canucks. Today's been an emotional day. I'm way past my bedtime here, 10:30 at night. But Marcus Pettersson, he does some good things, right? I know Kyle can join right now, but he did ask me when we talked prior to hopping on here, Locked On Canucks. Is Marcus Pettersson just like Carson Soucy? I can pretty confidently say that Marcus Pettersson is a better version of Carson Soucy. Sure, maybe not quite as physical, which says something because Carson Soucy is the most physical guy to begin with. But what Marcus Pettersson excels at, and has continued to excel at this season, even if his game has taken a step back, is retrievals in the defensive zone and exits out of the defensive zone. You can confidently say that he is a player, despite not having the physicality that Patrick Allvin and Jim Rutherford have liked on their defense. He is a player that is going to help this team defensively. But again, that hasn't been the biggest weak spot with the team this season. The biggest weak spot of the team this season has been their lack of ability to score and create chances. And sure, JT Miller was part of the problem this season. But man, oh man, replacing him with Filip. Again, JT Miller had 103 points last season. This guy 9 months ago became just the 7th Canuck in their 55-year history to register 100 points in a single season. Filip has a career high of what? Was it 45 points, 50 points? And look, I do believe that there is some untapped potential in Filip. And he's bigger and more physical than you think. Again, not a guy who's necessarily going to throw the body around, but he is good at getting to the net. But again, this guy has a career of 22 goals and 45 points. He missed all but 10 regular season games last season due to injury. He has 11 goals and 20 points in 41 games this season. This team lacks offensive punch, and swapping out JT Miller for Filip essentially in the center ice position doesn't make you a better team today. Man, oh man, it is a tough day to be a Vancouver Canucks fan. Again, I've said it time and time again, everydayers know. This is the most cursed franchise in NHL history. The Buffalo Sabres are brothers in pain, come a close second, but the Canucks are the most cursed franchise in NHL history. And again, major changes to the Vancouver Canucks today. A franchise-altering day for the Vancouver Canucks. JT Miller, Danton Heinen, Vincent Desharnais, Erik Brannstrom all gone. You bring in Marcus Pettersson and Drew O'Connor and Victor Mancini in return. Again, the Vancouver Canucks, I think they're still a playoff team. I think they can make the playoffs as long as Quinn Hughes is healthy. Again, probably the biggest story today. Is that possible? If he's hurt, it's the biggest story today. But again, the goal is to be a Stanley Cup contender. Patrick Allvin and Jim Rutherford have gone on the record to say that. And again, when you look at the Canucks roster right now, they are not a Stanley Cup contender. Of course, the big thing that worked for this team when we thought of them as a contender, or I thought of them as a contender, was the fact that you got JT Miller and Elias Pettersson down the middle. And Rutherford, when he came out this week, now we know it wasn't just a last gasp attempt to get these guys to get along. He was preparing the fan base to be disappointed with the trade. And again, some of you in the comments, I like it. There's positivity there. Sports is about escapism. You want to escape. You want to feel good. but it is hard for me to feel good about this Vancouver Canucks team after a day like today. There's so much to get to, and I'm going to get to some comments as well.
Hey, Trevor, can you hear me?
I can hear you, buddy. All right, not getting to an ad
Bro,
break.
what are the chances that we trade on the same day we trade JT Miller and we get a first-round pick that's unprotected next season? We trade that first-round pick for a guy named Pettersson. Are we living in a simulation? Is this a dream? It's probably a dream, dude. Anyone that's watching this, it's all bullshit, bro. Life's bullshit. Just wake up. Ha, ha, ha. Just wake up. This ain't right, baby. This ain't right. 8 months ago, Game 7, Round 2. We telling ourselves, like I said, yo, if Pettersson just woke up, we win in this game. He didn't wake up. But we leave in that game being like, you know what? There's never going to be a time again where Pettersson is this quiet, this much of a shell of himself. Boom, bam, we were lied to. Pettersson scamming us, robbing us of opportunity. I mean, so did Miller. But at the end of the day, I just can't believe we're here, dude. I cannot believe we're here. I cannot believe that we just traded JT Miller to get out of the contracts of Vincent, Desharnais, and Danton Heinen. Unless Trevor, Marcus Pettersson is the next Filip. I don't know. Well, you know what, Trevor? Honestly, I just want to hug my girlfriend, man. I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of my life, baby. I don't know, man. That's all I'm saying, Trevor. You're lucky you have children, bro. You lucky you have children. I might have some children tonight. I'm going to start raising a family because I need something to hug. You got kids, you know? I don't have kids. I got the Canucks.
Yeah, and we got the Canucks again. We Kyle, you and I agreed to do Locked On Canucks for eternity, but I'm scared I'm going to lose you after today. And Kyle, make sure you turn your volume down there because you got a little feedback coming in. I can just mute you, buddy. Actually, Kyle Bound, man, unbelievable stuff. It's a tough day to be a Vancouver Canucks fan, and it does kind of feel like we're living in a simulation. Now the Canucks, again, chose Elias Pettersson over JT Miller, and now they got Marcus Pettersson and DPD on the roster as well. We're going to cut to break here, get to some of your comments on the other side. Again, one of the craziest days in Canucks history, franchise-altering days. We're going to be talking about this day for a long time to come, and we're going to be talking about it on the other side as well after we shouted our friends over at Gametime. Man, oh man, I'm not sure how many of you are going to be buying tickets to the Vancouver Canucks after a day like today. I definitely have a fascination with this team, but holy, this is a tough day to get behind if you're a fan of the Vancouver Canucks. Again, if you're in the comments watching live right now, hit me up with your positivity if you're feeling good about today, because I, for one, am feeling sad. I'm feeling nervous that the Stanley Cup contention window is closed. And again, faith that Quinn Hughes and Elias Pettersson can be superstars, but that's what this team needs. Again, I'm talking about Gametime here, whether it's Canucks tickets, whether it's something else. Make sure that you use Gametime. Maybe you want to escape from the Vancouver Canucks and go watch some slow jazz, maybe to calm you down. Make sure you find those tickets on Gametime. Gametime, they got this new feature called Gametime Picks, and here's why I love it, okay? They curated deals make it super simple to find great tickets at a great price. No more sifting through thousands of options. And the seat view feature is a game changer, okay? Before I even hit buy, I sit on the toilet, I think about life, and I can see exactly what my seat will look like at the venue. It's reassuring, unlike this Vancouver Canucks team. So make sure you take the guesswork of buying tickets with Gametime. Go download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets. Lowest price. Guaranteed. All right. We're back here on Locked On Canucks. Your Canucks every day, every afternoon, and every night. At least that's the case today. And that's what happens when you get a day filled with news. The salary cap's going up by $20 million over the next 3 years. The Vancouver Canucks trade JT Miller. Quinn Hughes gets hurt, and then the Vancouver Canucks flip a first-round pick to the Pittsburgh Penguins for Marcus Pettersson. And man, oh man, let's just get to it, man. Comments, questions coming in. Let's get to you here. Let's answer a question first here from Boom Scoom. Trevor, would you have preferred Elias Pettersson to go today rather than JT Miller? And I guess the smart thing to do, at least for entertainment purposes, is to pick a side, but it depends on the return. But I've said this, and I'll say it again. The most important thing the Canucks have to do is keep Quinn Hughes happy to make sure this guy sticks around for a long time. And I worried about that today when I saw his comments about JT Miller. I mean, he looked dejected at the end of the game today. Again, he was hurt. That certainly doesn't help things, but he talked about how he's going to miss Millsy and, feels good for him in the sense that he's gone through a lot and he's getting a fresh start. Talked about seeing him again in, 6 to 7, 8 days at the Four Nations, which, again, to answer a question from Oliver Sholnick in the comments, I think more or less confirms that Quinn Hughes will likely play in the Four Nations. Again, we'll have to see what the injury is today. But in terms of the question about choosing JT over Elias Pettersson, the second biggest thing the Canucks had to figure out is whether they're confident that Elias Pettersson can bounce back. I, for one, am not confident. And if you are not confident in Elias Pettersson bouncing back and being a superstar, I likely would have traded Pettersson for two reasons. One, I think JT, again, brings the motor. He's a guy you want in the playoffs. But more importantly, Pettersson would have gotten you a bigger return in a trade. He would have gotten you something more than Filip, a first-round pick, and Victor Mancini, big boy on defense there, 6'3", 230. And again today, the team gets Filip, Marcus Pettersson, Drew O'Connor in the lineup for JT Miller, Vincent, Desharnais, Danton, Heinen. They're a worse team today. There's no doubt about it. Mother Knucker in the comments saying, second worst trade of this franchise's existence next to trading away Linden. Marcus Pettersson is soft, struggles with clearing the net front, and not what we need in the blue line. Yeah, Marcus Pettersson, a couple things about his game. Soft would be one way to describe it. He is a guy that gets knocked down a lot. Much like Quinn Hughes, he is above average at using his stick to knock away the puck from the opposition. But again, for a guy who's 6'3", he weighs 177 pounds. Man, String Bean Pettersson joins the Vancouver Canucks, and they must be related somehow, man, because Pettersson and Elias and Marcus, they got the same build. DPD 2.0, he ain't cut from the same cloth. That is a big, thick boy in DPD. And who knows, maybe the third best Canuck, the best Pettersson on the Canucks at some point. Man, let's not get that dark. The Vancouver Canucks need Elias Pettersson not just to be the best Pettersson on this team, but they need him to be the second best player on this team. They need him to get on a Quinn Hughes-like level. The trades today don't really matter if that doesn't happen. But, of course, the big thing is choosing Elias Pettersson over JT Miller. Christian Dye in the comments saying, everyone's saying Miller's the heart and soul of the team, but he quit on the team while Hughes is out there playing with a broken hand. I don't think Miller quit on the team. You hear Rick Tocchet playing today, and he talks about how Miller played his ass off for the Canucks, how he loves JT Miller. But even Rick Tocchet, when he talked post-game, mentioned how there were some things behind the scenes that happened, and it's a business. Again, there's a bigger story here with JT Miller, with Elias Pettersson, with the Vancouver Canucks that we may not ever find out. But what I am finding out is I'm joined by my brother Kyle Bowen here. Kyle, again,
I pulled over. Supposed to go home, take my medicine. I just got out of the hospital. I feel like I should have stayed in the hospital. I feel like the medicine they gave me took me to an alternate universe, and all this is bullshit. I'm sorry, pardon my language. I'm not actually sorry. I ain't sorry, man. This is the Canucks, man. It's the life we chose, right? I want to go in, Trevor, but can you answer the question? And can some people answer the question in the comments? Can this guy be like Filip Hronek, Marcus Pettersson? Can he just level up with us? I know he's a bit softer, a lot softer than Hronek. At least Hronek is built, he's a mean mother effer, a mean mother pucker. He's one of those guys. Can Pettersson just provide that much of an increase on defense? He's got to be that. I'm sorry, if you're trading an unprotected first-round pick next year and one of the biggest assets you got for JT Miller, who was a 100-point player last year, you need Marcus Pettersson to be a big part of this team moving forward. I'm not looking for Carson Soucy, Tyler Myers level. I know Pettersson hasn't been the strongest this year, and he's 142 pounds and 7'3". Like, I just need this guy to be really good. Trevor, how did we trade Miller for Pettersson, man? What the hell is going on today, man?
Well, to answer your first question, trading Miller for Marcus Pettersson, it does feel like you're in a fever dream, Kyle. I mean, shoot, maybe you're still in the hospital, man. Maybe you're still hooked up to an IV somewhere. That's what it kind of feels like right now.
Maybe I died.
But
like
can Marcus
Trevor,
Pettersson?
you're lucky you got kids. You can go home after this little podcast is over. You can go open up the door, see your kids sleeping in bed, and just put a smile on your face. You know what I gotta do? I gotta go home, lay in bed, and spend 8 hours on Twitter. I gotta spend 14 hours examining Pettersson's body language when being peppered by Dan Murphy, being asked all these questions about JT Miller. Look, if I'm Elias Pettersson, tomorrow I'm waking up, I'm going into that dressing room, and I'm apologizing. It's one thing to say, like, yo, I want the pressure. I can handle the pressure. Yo, we've heard this all season long. What happened today? It's a damn shame, okay? It's actually pathetic considering where we were last year and considering how good Quinn Hughes is. Quinn Hughes is a warrior. This guy's a tank. Getting hurt, playing, doesn't give a... because he just wants to win. The fact that these two, and especially Pettersson, considering he's getting paid so much, the fact that these two could not get along, and it ultimately took them away from winning games and trying and putting effort in, while Quinn Hughes, the captain, is doing his thing, while Thatcher Demko is risking his Papatia, Pepto-Bismol, Pepalitis. It's a damn shame. And Pettersson, you got to apologize to the team, man. It's not good enough answering questions the way you're answering questions. The fact that, like, again, when Dan Murphy asked him about Rutherford's comments and Pettersson just ignored it and didn't want to answer it, okay, whatever. It is what it is. But if I'm Elias Pettersson, the president ratted you guys out. Said you're a big reason why the team is sucking ass this year. I hope tomorrow he apologizes to that core, or at least Quinn Hughes. Because, again, Trevor, this is a dark day in Canucks history, man. And it's like, it's not fair to us. I'm getting older. I've already been in the hospital once. I'm trying, I don't know, man. I love you, man.
I love you too, buddy. I'll answer your question about Marcus Pettersson and Filip Hronek first. If you are banking on Marcus Pettersson having a Filip Hronek-like impact or being like Filip Hronek, I think you're asking for a lot. I do believe he makes this defense better. Again, he's very good in his own end at, using his stick to get the puck and getting it up the ice and out of the zone. But he's not as physical as Filip Hronek, and he's not as good offensively as Filip Hronek. And again, this guy's also a UFA. I mean, when you look at the trade, let's break down the trade quickly here, Kyle. You have Marcus Pettersson for the first round pick. And again, I saw a comment here of like top 13 protected. It's not that good. That one coming from Garrett Ma in the comments. I mean, hey, that is an unprotected pick in 2026 in what is supposed to be a deeper draft. I mean, theoretically, if the Rangers and JT Miller don't work out, which I hope it doesn't work out, I hope JT Miller is a 50-point player from here on out. But if it doesn't work out for the New York Rangers, that will be a pretty damn good pick next season. And man, oh man, the Canucks, hopefully they're banking on being better than the New York Rangers because, man, oh man, again, dark day. But Marcus Pettersson, not the next Filip Hronek, in my opinion.
Trevor. I saw a comment here I want to get to, man. I'm mad right now. Look at this guy, okay? Steve Masalowski, okay? Saying, who is this clown? Who's this Kyle guy? Who's this clown? Yo, how about you have a display picture before you start talking shit? I'm mad today. I'm sorry. I'm mad today, bro.
Maybe he's talking about me.
He ain't talking about you. Let's be honest, man. Kyle Bound, Trevor Beggs, it is what it is. You're the second best dad in the world. You ain't a bad guy. You ain't a clown. I know I'm a clown. Okay, Trevor. Can we be positive, man? Can we do it? And I want to rebuttal with you just a bit. I hope that JT Miller is an incredible player for the Rangers. I'm sorry. Yo, I don't want to see the Rangers suck next year and know that or whenever, like, you never know when this first round pick is actually going to be used by Pittsburgh. Like, I don't want them to suck next year and this being like a Matt Duchene thing, the Colorado thing, and like the Pittsburgh Penguins draft the next Cale Makar or whatever it was. I'm sorry. I don't want that. Or was it Bowen Bryant? JT Miller, best of luck in New York, okay? Please be good. I'm sorry.
Actually, no.
No, can you hear me?
I can hear. No, I can hear you, buddy. I'm just thinking that again, and just as a reminder to the listeners, the pick will only be in a 2026 pick if the Rangers basically fall to the playoffs and it's the top 13 pick this year. That's the only way it gets to 2026. So the Rangers would have to be bad off the bat. I mean, with Igor Shesterkin, I don't think it's going to land in 2026. But if it does, man, oh man, does that just make this saga all the more interesting?
And look at this comment from Living Inspired. This guy sounds like he sucked it back a balloon, helium balloon. I didn't suck. You know what? You know what sucks? Today. And again, we could be wrong. Maybe we're a better team. Who knows? And again, JT Miller's out of this room, right? Like maybe Pettersson wakes up. I don't know. But at the end of the day, Trevor, like I just feel really bad for all Canucks fans because considering where we were like 7 or 8 months ago. And remember what happened last May happened after almost a full decade of Jim Benning bullshit and just like being the laughingstock of the NHL. And today, again, it's funny to examine trades and be overreactive like we are right now, but now in 2025, we're already back to being one of the laughingstocks in the NHL. You look at everyone talking about this trade, and when you live your life, you don't got to worry about what other people say about you. I know that, but I'm just so tired, man. I thought we were over this for the foreseeable future, that again, the Canucks wouldn't be the butt of all jokes. But as Oliver was saying in the comments, like, why couldn't we just trade our own first round pick in October if we wanted Marcus Pettersson? But here we are using a big piece that we had in the Miller trade right away for Pettersson. It just kind of hurts, man. It just feels embarrassing. And I want to be proven wrong, man. Trevor, man, you let your kids know I love them, okay? Just let them know I love them.
Yeah, again, a wild day in Canucks history. And let's talk quickly. So we're almost a half an hour in here, locked on Canucks, your Canucks every day. In the wake of the JT Miller trade tonight, the Canucks actually had one of their best games, I'd say, against the Dallas Stars. True. And it does lead back to the fact that Pettersson is supposed to be the guy. He didn't finish. He does pick up an assist today on Jake DeBrusk's far too late power play goal. But the Canucks took it to the Stars for 40 minutes in this game. We're talking about a good Dallas Stars team. That top line of Pettersson, DeBrusk, and Besser looked dangerous. Nils Höglander played one of his best games for the Vancouver Canucks.
Thank you.
Setting up Connor Garland. So, look, there is hope for this team. I'm not saying that, the Canucks, this window's done and it's all doom and gloom. But as I've said time and time again, both on this show and on previous episodes, the fate of the Canucks lives and dies with Elias Pettersson. And I'm not confident or feeling good about the fact that he's ready for that pressure. But I do know he's one of the most individually skilled players in the NHL. And if he can figure it out, and again, Filip, again, a lot of ifs. Too many ifs for my liking. But Filip, you hear the rhetoric that he's a third-line center. He does have second-line center potential. But we're talking about a lot of ifs. Pettersson's an if. Chytil's an if. Can Pettersson be a huge difference maker? Marcus Pettersson, that is. That is a big if. There are too many ifs for me, man. And I'm feeling, Kyle, again, people are wondering why the Pettersson trade didn't just happen earlier with the Canucks first-round pick. I'm feeling like Patrick Allvin should have gotten some sleep tonight. Like, maybe he saw Quinn Hughes getting hurt, and he was like, F it, we need to make this trade right now. It just doesn't make sense. Pettersson for the first was an overpay. Heinen for Connor is a bit of a wash. You could honestly argue that Heinen's the better player. You get rid of Vinny D, like big whoop. You could have buried him in the minors and saved over 50% of that cap hit. And you trade away Melvin Firmstra, one of your top 10 prospects. It just doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
Like I said, man, you're lucky to have kids, brother. But I do want to touch on that, though. Like, again, the Canucks played possibly their fourth straight really good game. I mean, they almost doubled the Stars in shots at one point late in the third period. I thought they played strong the whole game, to be honest. They just couldn't generate like high quality scoring chances, right? But that's kind of gonna happen when, again, you don't have Filip in the lineup, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they worked hard today, and I still believe the playoffs are in the picture. And I'll say two things before I sign out of here. One love to all of y'all. I'm literally sending all of you guys love. Again, JT Miller, a Canuck, for 400 plus games, had all these points, had all these moments, was that dog. Again, one of my favorite players. Don't like the return that we got for him. But at the end of the day, Trevor, I'm not going to hold on to the Miller thing for too long because, bro, we didn't win with him. He was on this team for a very long time. And the most important stat that matters is winning. We did not win with him. We made the bubble playoffs, and we made the playoffs last year. Everything outside of that was, again, full with a lot of mediocrity. So it is what it is. Things can get better. And number 2, dude, I still want to make the playoffs. I know it sounds so crazy to talk about, but
Yeah, it's not crazy.
Quentin
They
Hughes
should
needs
be a
to make the
playoff
playoffs,
team.
man. Like, we need to make the playoffs, man. And Jay, is Kyle huffing helium? Fuck. Jay, man, come on, man. Say it to my face, bro. That's all I'm trying to say, man. This team needs to be a little harder, okay? We lost Miller. We're a bit softer of a team. I'm gonna start being hard. Say it to my face.
Oh man, Kyle, it's all good, buddy. I mean, the listeners don't know, but Kyle, your voice, man, it's not from sucking helium. It's from sucking on. Oh, this Vancouver Canucks team, man. Unbelievable stuff. Kyle, if you got to go, it's all good. I know you pulled over for this. I do want to get to a few more comments before we get out of here. Oliver Sholnick bringing some positivity, saying could be the changeup we needed. Some more positivity in the comments. Kevin Nagoro saying JT peaked last year, caused turmoil, and had a contract that would age like sour milk. Look, with the cap going up at the rate it does, I don't think that contract's going to look that bad. And again, there's so much from behind the scenes that we didn't know about. But obviously, we're getting some positive and negative.
I'm not convinced that he's going to age like sour milk, like in the immediate future. Like, bro, we're talking about JT Miller being a 100-point getter last season, you know? Like, the guy still got a lot of dog in him when he's not distracted. Like, he's going to be, like, he's going to do his thing. And I know a lot of Canucks fans are going to watch the Rangers games and be like, oh my God, this guy scored a goal. He scored a goal. Oh, we needed JT Miller again. Try not to hold on to it too much because the most important stat is winning, and we didn't win a lot of games with JT Miller. So I'm not gonna be too hurt if he's playing well. I guess I'm just trying to rebuttal against that comment, like he's gonna age like sour milk. I'm not completely convinced on that because I was convinced for a very long time that he was gonna be good for a long time. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and if you want to grasp on some positivity, again, in terms of the Canucks not winning with JT Miller, Nancy Bowen, shout out to Aunt Nancy in the comments saying, doesn't that Chytil guy have more goals than JT Miller this year? And that's true. JT Miller, 9 goals this season. Filip Chytil, 11 goals. Look, there is promise with Filip Chytil. The defense got better with Pettersson. I mean, look, there is hope for this team. This should be a playoff team at the end of the day. But did the Canucks get better today? No, they did not. So I think those are the two big things. And man, oh man, a lot rides on JT Miller.
Yo, last thing, Trevor. Oliver was saying, the 30 for 30 documentary on Miller versus Pettersson is going to be crazy. Okay, again, I talked all that bullshit about the charity Four Nations tournament not mattering. I'll say it again, bro. Trevor, I know you got a family. I know you got kids, but ditch them on that Saturday or whatever day it is when Sweden plays Team USA because I'm watching that game. That's going to be pay-per-view fight, man. That's Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield. You know when Tyson bit Pettersson's ear off? I mean, okay. Yo, something's gonna happen that day. That day.
Locked on Canucks, man. That game's gonna be hard. And again, I'm getting a lot of comments about saying the newsflash: the Vancouver Canucks are soft today. Kyle, safe travels home, buddy. Buddy, a couple more comments before we get out of here. Mother Knucker also saying after this trade will be faster and softer, kind of like me in the bedroom. Unbelievable, man. Again, one of the craziest days in Canucks history. Thanks to you for joining us here on Locked On Canucks, your Canucks every day, every afternoon, and every night, apparently. Again, a crazy day, and seeing some comments too about being worried about Filip Chytil and his concussion history again. Look, the Canucks, there's a lot of ifs moving forward. I am morbidly fascinated to see how these ifs turn out, but the Canucks are not a better team right now, and I'm not sure if I'm sleeping tonight. I might be like Kyle Bowen. I might be hugging my pillow and scrolling Twitter. But hopefully we gave you some reprieve here, some insight to the trades on Locked On Canucks. Again, if you like what we're doing, go subscribe and like on YouTube. And on the podcast side, oh, baby, go follow us and leave a 5-star review. Man, oh, man, JT Miller traded. Marcus Pettersson acquired. A whole bunch of moves today. I gotta celebrate 420 and get my head around this, man. Unbelievable. I'm Trevor Beggs. That was Kyle Bowen. Thanks for tuning in to Locked On Canucks. And hey, love or hate the trades, it's Go Canucks Go.
Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.